Welcome to using the life pie metaphor to manage your depression and overall mental health. So, the life pie metaphor comes from concepts in cognitive behavioral therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy. Specifically, it comes from behavioral activation, which is a CBT concept, and walking towards your values comes from acceptance and commitment therapy. So, I created the life pie metaphor for my clients who struggle with motivation, avoidance, and isolation, which can also be indicators of depression. What research has found is that when we do meaningful activities that connect with our values, we tend to feel less isolated, we become less avoidant, and we are more motivated. When we are depressed, we tend to do less. And when we are less active, there are fewer opportunities to have positive and rewarding experiences. And the fewer rewarding things that happen to us, the lower that our mood is. And the whole thing becomes a vicious cycle. Behavioral activation is something that's a practical way to get out of the vicious cycle. It's also an evidence based treatment for depression. As it relates to mental health, values are the concepts, ideas, and behaviors that are in line with how we want to live our lives. According to acceptance and commitment therapy, getting in touch with those things and walking towards them, literally or metaphorically, will ease our anxieties during moments of stress or depression. If we're doing things that feel good in our core, we can manage our anxiety and depression much better. Values are not goals because they are basically expressed through action and behavior, and they are expressed on an ongoing basis. There's no end to the expression of your values. Values, by definition, are things that help you live a fulfilling and peaceful life. For example, creative expression or creativity might be one of your values, but your goal might be to write a book. There's no end to creative expression, but there is an end to writing a book. Think about this as process versus product. So, the life pie metaphor. Think of your life as a pie divided up into different slices. Each of those slices are your personal values. Here's an example of a client's life pie. We'll call the client Jane. She came up with these values after brainstorming in a session about what matters to her. We started out by discussing how she wants her life to be and if she's living her life in that way. And one of the ways that we examined that was by taking some of her values and putting them in the life pie and then filling in the life pie to see, does she actually express those values? We took her top 6 values and we put them into a pie. As you can see, she came up with companionship, family, purpose, self-care, community, play, and fun. There are some other values that she came up with as well, that some of them overlapped these, but we really took a long time and we felt like these were the 6 best ones. So if you look on the left, you'll see a list of some of the other values, and some of those other values might be your values. Think about your own life and actually take a moment. You can pause this video and think about, what do you care about? What brings you peace? What makes you feel whole? What makes you feel better and centered? What makes you be able to live your life in a way that's as connected to yourself as possible? For this client, Jane, she enjoys many different parts of her life already. And so we spent a little time writing down the activities that she currently does pretty regularly and that she enjoys. We also wrote down the things that maybe are boring and more mundane, but that are necessary because they fill one of her life pie value slices. So if you look at her life pie, she put in some different things. Jane might look a little similar to, I don't know, me. So morning walks with her husband, lunch with her mom, mani-pedi with her daughter, working as a psychotherapist, going to PT, journaling, bike riding, swimming, a book event with her best friend, and writing time, working on a book. So these are all the actual activities that express those different values. And it's a good idea to look at your whole week, for example. This is an average week of some of the activities that Jane does. In some cases, I'll work with the client and they might have the value of creative expression, for example. And then we'll look at their whole week and we'll see that they actually have nothing in that pie slice. So it's an empty pie slice. So something to think about is, do your values that you have in your life pie, are they filled with different activities? In this case, it looks like Jane's life pie has some things in each of it. Are there areas that maybe she needs to enhance? Maybe. This is where a deeper conversation can happen. What I've noticed as a therapist is sometimes people will come in and describe how they just aren't leaving the house. They're not leaving the house enough, or they don't feel great. And we'll look at their whole life and we'll try to figure out, okay, well, how is it that you want your life to be? And then how is it really? And there can be a huge discrepancy, maybe one or two or even three. If you value companionship or romantic partnership and you don't have one and you're not dating or trying to, there's that disconnect. And that's an indicator, according to behavioral activation and acceptance and commitment therapy and the values, walking towards your values, it's something that you need to examine and look at. So taking a look at your own life, which of the slices of your life pie need filling? Depression can worsen, or it actually can even be caused in that vicious cycle by avoidance and isolation. So you have to make sure you fill your pie. And here are some different ideas of what values-oriented activities could be. Volunteering, lunch with friends, maybe your work. Sometimes work doesn't fulfill the value of purpose, but maybe it fulfills the value of responsibility. That might be one of your values. Travel, church or temple or something spiritual, dates with your partner. Mani-pedi is one of my personal favorites for self-care, and on. Some other things are mundane and boring, like doctor visits, or for me, it's physical therapy. We may not necessarily think of those as values-oriented activities or important behavioral activation activities, but they are, because they are ways of helping us feel better. And that's what can really, the more that you behave your way towards how you want your life to be, the more your life will actually be in line with that. So as a final note, sit down with yourself. Is your life pie filled? Is it filled the way you want it to be? Are you missing some things? Take a moment. You can draw the circle out and do the activity of, what are my values? Put them into your life pie. And then what are the activities that go along with those values? And if you're not doing enough, start doing it. Maybe you don't feel like doing it, but the idea here is you have to kind of gently push yourself towards doing it, and you will start to feel better. And this is connected to something else called self-compassion. And self-compassion is an important tool when we talk about behavioral activation and walking towards your values. And that will be probably the next video that's coming up.